You know, I've spent a lot of time questioning myself and trying to figure out who I am. And a big reason for that is because I would always judge myself based off of what other people's told me I was. And that happens when you're younger. You know, I didn't have like the best support system growing up. And being that as it was, I relied heavily on how others made me feel about myself to judge who I was. Only when I got older did I realize that I am not just what other people say. Now, if someone were to ask you, like, who are you? I mean, obviously, the first thing you'd probably say is your name. And, that's definitely the key defining factor. But I think that it's a lot more complicated than that. Like, it definitely is. People don't usually look for themselves. They feel like they know themselves pretty well, and of course, there's a lot of people who do just know themselves pretty well, and that's great. This is not about them. This is about the people who feel like they don't know themselves, who they struggle with their self-identity, or they question like what they bring to the table, what their purpose is. And it's an amalgamation of things. While yes, it is important to take constructive criticism based on who you are, don't base yourself on just who people say you are. Like, personally, I've always heard a lot of negative things about myself from the people I care about, and that's okay. Everyone's based on has their own opinion. You can't appease everyone. I feel like who we are is based on our personal experiences. People who have experienced more stable and comforting home lives or childhoods, they tend to, at least from what I've kind of gathered from my personal experiences, have a better sense of self. If you meet someone who's like got a loving mother, loving father, who's present in their life, were actually like attentive to their needs and met them, and there was very little, if any, neglect in some way, then they are going to most likely have a better sense of self. They will have more confidence in themselves. They will not be questioning, what people think of them as much. They'll just think I'm me, and that's that. And that's not for everyone. Obviously, everyone it's complicated. There's nuance, as I'll keep bringing up. But for the most part, people who understand, who have had those healthy support systems, usually do end up having healthier uh, self images. Then there's people like me who were raised by one parent, who didn't really have people who cared enough to listen, or had people who actually attended to their needs, or heard them out when they spoke. People who were shunned for who they were, who they are. If people like myself usually tend to spend a lot of time questioning who they are. And That's a very interesting question, though, because even for the people who have a good sense of self, I mean, at the same time, you never know fully who you are. And I'm gonna get into it. Now, for when you're trying to find who you are, anyone who knows who they know who they are, but at the same time, they don't, because you're always changing. You'll know, like, some of the fundamentals, and that's the closest you'll ever get. Because when it comes down to it, we as people, we as humans, we as species, we as a race, we are constantly adapting to the things that are going on around us. If we all react to things differently because we're all unique, and our reactions change based on our experiences. Being in a negative headspace or a negative experience, if you know that you're in a negative experience and you know that it's not healthy, then you're most likely going to move past that. Now, there are a few ways to completely, like, know yourself. Not completely, but you know, as close as you can get. Spending a lot of time by yourself. And this is something that I wish I did a lot more throughout my years, because of the fact that I didn't have a caring family. You know, I figured I could supplement that, the feelings of compassion, through my friendships. And while yes, I'm getting the companionship, I never got the chance to really explore myself. And you don't really get that chance even when you're living in a loving family. You know, I would say that you don't really get that chance to explore yourself, because it's always like dictated in a way based off of what your parents like, or like what your friends are like. You know, when, like, in school, your teachers, you get kind of, not, I don't want to say brainwashed, but you get kind of, you know, steered in a certain direction. It's not until you're 18 and you can finally go out on your own. Not even 18, because you know, not everyone goes out on their own at 18, but you know, it's not until you go out on your own that you really do get to find out who you are. And obviously I'm not saying that you can't find out who you are while you're you know, with people. You know, obviously the way you find out what you don't like in people is just being around people. You know, the way you find out what you do like about people is being around people. But the most important time of your life, and this is probably why a lot of people struggle with their self-identity, is because we are kind of trained to feel like being alone is wrong. I mean, in media, everyone that you see has plenty of friends, and all these friends are like best friends. They've been friends for years. And you know, or relationships, like, you're designed to want to be in a relationship, because if you're not seen in a relationship, you're failing in life. I mean, if you go to a family gathering and you're hanging out with your aunt, and she's just like, hey, when are you gonna have a kid, or when are you gonna get a boyfriend, get a girlfriend, you know, whatever. It, you feel so pressured into becoming part of a group and growing into a group. And that's pretty unfair to yourself, because you're not giving yourself the chance to grow. There's a reason why I said in the last video, or was it a couple of videos ago? I don't know. But there's a reason I say that I have this nasty habit of ghosting, or like becoming reclused, or whatever the word is, taking time to myself, basically. I take a lot of time to myself. You know, it's because I enjoy myself a lot more. Honestly, as much as I love spending time with the people I care about. My best friend, and this is like the weirdest thing for me to say because I actually used to fight against this so much for so long because, I was so against it, but my best friend has honestly been myself because I've been the one who's been able to pick myself up over and over. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that, like, it's a sad thing that I picked myself up on my own. I think it was very beneficial to me. I'm not saying that you have to do it alone the whole time because obviously it's nice to have a support system. But being on your own, taking time to yourself to do the things that you enjoy, it's probably the best thing that you can do for yourself. You should be happy with yourself, and the best way to be happy with yourself is to spend time with yourself. And if you feel like you can't spend time with yourself, you gotta make time for yourself. And if you feel like it's unbearable to be with yourself, then maybe you should look into therapy or speaking to someone who can help you. Or, asking yourself, even if you can't do any of that, why don't you ask yourself, why can't you bear being with yourself? Because at the end of the day, you're who you came into this world with. You're the one who you're leaving with. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You can live a happy, healthy life all by yourself. And but the only way you'll know who you are is if you spend that time with yourself. Give yourself the chance to grow. You don't want to be like 40, 50 years old and having a midlife crisis like, who am I? What am I doing with myself? How do I change? Like, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that girl either. If that's, I'm not going based on gender here. You want to be able to say, hey, it's me. You want to be able to tell yourself that, hey, I know who I am, I accept who I am, and I love who I am. And the only way you'll be able to do that is spending time with yourself. And that's the best advice I can give to you on who you are. I can't tell you who you are, but I can tell you where to start looking. And your journey of self-discovery starts within. Don't know why it started raining like that. That's kind of funny. Okay, back inside. Here we can sleep. And I guess with that being said, I don't know why this was all over the place, but with that being said, hope you enjoyed. If you did, if I helped in some way, smash that like button, leave a comment below, and subscribe. I try to post every Monday and Friday. I'm trying to stay consistent. And with that being said, hopefully by the time this comes out, I could have been hitting close to 100 because I'm at 79 right now as the time of recording this. So thank you guys for anyone who supported me. I know old subscribers were there already, but for the new people who have joined and anyone who's enjoying this, thank you for giving me the motivation to want to do this more. I mean, I'm still gonna want to do it anyway, but it's nice seeing people are enjoying this. And with that being said, I'm Thorok, and I'm out of here. Peace, broskies. See ya.